Hey everybody, Jillian here. Welcome back to my channel for a new Heritage Scrapbook process video. Today I'm going to be using the Fancy Free collection from Pink Paislee designed by Paige Evans, and I love this collection. The colors are beautiful, I love the geometrics, I love everything about it. I got the paper pad so that I could have two of every paper, and I'm so glad that I did. I'm going to be scrapbooking this 4x6 photo of a woman named Helen. This is going to go in my husband's Heritage album, since this is his grandmother. And then you can see there that I also have pulled some thickers. Those are from the Maggie Holmes Confetti collection, the chipboard sheet from Fancy Free, and this sticker sheet from an older basic gray collection. I think it's called Fresh Cut or something like that. But I love the colors, and they're similar to this collection. So I'm going to start with this beautiful aqua piece of paper, and I'm going to use this as my background. I'm trying to figure out what part I want to cut off. I wanted to leave mostly the saturated aqua part showing. So I've pulled several pattern papers, and if you guys have watched my channel, you know it's no secret that I love pattern paper. It's my favorite part of scrapbooking, and I'm always trying to figure out how I can incorporate more onto a page. So what I'm going to do is just stack about 5 pattern papers up the left side of the layout. And here's my very scientific technique for figuring out how long this sheet of paper is. My son has run off with my ruler and I don't know where it is, so I took a pen and measured it visually and then actually measured it on the ruler here to see how long I need to cut the piece of paper. I'm hoping that it'll turn up one day. But anyway, so it comes to about 3¼ wide by 2½ tall. And then I do end up running each block of paper off of the left edge of the page, so I really didn't even need this much, but I'm just now like easing back into traditional scrapbooking. I've been doing a lot of pocket pages lately, and thinking about Bible journaling, and that's been on my mind. So this is kind of like getting back into the swing of things here. So I pulled out these papers. I knew I wanted to use the floral, so I basically went from there and picked out papers that complemented it. Now this green paper, it's my least favorite, but I still wanted to include it on the page because I wanted that color green. So I put it on the bottom knowing that it would be run off of the edge. And then the floral, you may be thinking, why are you putting it up there? You're going to cut a lot of it off. But I am going to bring it in another way to the layout, so there will be more of that floral pattern. But I really liked it up there in the corner, and then I had kind of a method for the way that I arranged them. The dark color, that navy in the middle, I put next to the photo so that your eye is drawn there to the photo. Now the title is simply Helen, so I'm going ahead and getting that down on the wax paper, and then I'm looking at the sticker sheet and the chipboard sheet and also selecting some things that I might use. Now, spoiler alert, I did not use the chipboard flowers. I will admit it, I'm hoarding them. I didn't use them. You'll see what I did in a minute instead of using that the piece of chipboard, but I just couldn't bring myself to it yet. Now I'm realizing I need something to map the photo, so I'm going back to the paper pad and I'm just holding the photo up to a few patterns that I think might work near the rest of the patterns on the page to see what looks best. And I think I'm going to go with that small floral there because it has all of those colors in it and also a nice white, so it'll pop a little bit off of all of those patterns. So I'm just going to create a really thin border. It's about 1/4 inch around the photo. So what you can see there off to the left is I fussy cut some of the floral piece from that pattern paper. And instead of cutting into more of the sheet, what I did was I cut the blooms and leaves and things that were like bleeding off of the edge of the pattern paper, since I knew I was just going to layer it underneath the photo anyway. So I'm just arranging it like so, and then I am curling up the edges of those leaves so that it provides a little more dimension on the page. I love the shadow underneath that it gives. Then I'm trying to figure out where I want my title. I know I'm going to have a lot of journaling on this page, so instead of putting it beneath the photo where I'd be more inclined to, because there's that weird space between the citron piece of pattern paper and the flower, I'm going to put it layered over the flower. And then I really want to use these butterfly stickers. I had pulled them out for another project, so I'm just trying to think about where they might work. And I love the one up in the top left, and I'm trying to figure out how to bring another one down near the title. So while I'm thinking about that, I'm going to go ahead and put some foam adhesive under the smaller of the two butterflies and then stick it up there. Now unfortunately, it seems that I've forgotten how I had originally placed it, so I fidgeted with it a little bit. So then I go ahead and get started on my journaling, and I'm just going to read to you what it says while I'm writing. It says, Helen is not 70 years old in this photo, but this is a story about her, quote, surprise 70th birthday party. Her daughter Kay employed her children to help secretly distribute pink invitations to all the residents in the Lake Worth Towers where Helen lived. Helen watched the goings-on in the building's lobby via the closed-circuit channel in her room. The invitations were slipped under the residents' doors, but apparently not entirely, because Helen picked up one of them and read it. The evening of the party, Kay took her mother to dinner, and when they were en route to the towers, Kay noticed her mother primping in the passenger's mirror. They arrived at the party, and when the door was opened, Helen exclaimed, "Oh my!" and giggled, trying to act surprised. Afterwards, she told Kay she had known all along. So this is just a cute story that my mother-in-law had told me recently about her surprising her mother for her 70th birthday party. She said that I'm going to include these kind of anecdotes elsewhere in the album, but she said that she knew her mom watched the closed circuit channel on her television in her room that featured the building's lobby. So she would see somebody that she knew in the lobby, and then she would, just really quickly get, presentable, and then go downstairs as if to, like, check her mailbox or something and say, "Oh, Dr. Spear, how nice to see you," or something like that. So I just thought that was really funny. And then my husband and his brothers and sister, they went around and put these invitations under everybody's door. And my mother-in-law explained to me that her mother was the type of woman that would just, like, open someone's mail or read a letter, or, if something is partially slipped under their door, she would stoop down and pick it up and read it, and that's exactly what she did in this instance. So I just thought it was a really cute story. Now, as I was journaling this, like halfway through, I realized that I do have a photo of her at the 70th surprise birthday party, so I'm going to have to figure out a way to incorporate that into the album now that I'm using this picture of her as a, maybe 20-year-old and talking about a story that happened, some 50 years later. Anyway, so I figured out where I wanted the butterfly while I was writing down my journaling, and I'm just going to place it on the N in her name. And then there's kind of like this weird trap space between the bloom and the butterfly's antenna and his body and stuff. So what I decided to do is pull out some distress inks. I pulled out worn lipstick and the teal one I think is peacock feathers. So I'm putting them down on this acrylic block that has black ink all over it. Fortunately it's dried and it didn't mess with this technique. So I'm just spraying some water on it, and then I want to use this as a mist almost to kind of splatter the pink ink on the paper. I decided to not go with the teal. It's not as green as I wanted, so what I do is just take a paintbrush and pick up the paint and then flick it all over the page. And my camera's battery is about to go out right here. So here's a finished look at the layout, and you can see the ink splatters. Unfortunately, I didn't get a paper towel to it fast enough to sop up some of the excess color, so it dried a lot darker than I was hoping. I always forget until after I've done it that pink and red splatter to me reminds me of a crime scene. I decided to take it up into the top left of the layout also, and I was able to get the color up a lot faster with the paper towel, so it dried a lot lighter, and I like that way more. So that's it. Thank you guys so much for watching, commenting, and for subscribing. I look forward to seeing you guys again next week.